Hey all, and welcome to this edition of the Mike Muldoon podcast. Today I want to explore this fascinating psychological phenomenon that many suffer from and can cause an amazing amount of stress in their lives. It's called the spotlight effect. Have you ever felt like all eyes are on you? You get the feeling that, everything you say, do, or is being judged by others? Well, if so, then you might be suffering from the spotlight effect. See, while some people might be in love with the idea of being in the spotlight, for many, this kind of attention really creates all sorts of anxiety, and these people want to slide back into the shadows. They feel they're on a stage they didn't want to be on, forced into performances they're not ready to take on, and all they want to do is just fall to the wayside, but they can't because the spotlight stays with them. Have you ever spilled coffee on your shirt right before a big meeting or just going to see someone when you were so sure that everyone noticed that little slip up? It's like there is this invisible spotlight inside us that tricks us into thinking the main, that we are the main event in everyone's minds. We end up believing that people are paying way more attention to us than, they actually are. And that's when self-consciousness and anxiety kick in. Suddenly, we're overthinking every move and stressing about how others see us. And it's interesting because the spotlight effect sneaks into sort of all different corners of our lives, influencing how we perceive ourselves and the way we interact with others. Just again, imagine being on a stage, convinced that every minor mishap you make is amplified for the audience, turning those nerves into a full-blown spectacle. Or, just thinking about being at a social gathering, worrying that everyone's attention is fixated on your actions, appearance, or even your conversations, even though they're more likely immersed in their own world. Or, those cringeworthy moments, that you have that you would rather erase, or that embarrassing thing you did last week. You're pretty certain everyone recalls it as vividly as you do, even though they don't, even though they might not have even seen it. The spotlight effect loves to convince us that we're always under watchful gaze. Like actors playing parts on a grand stage, even in everyday scenarios. You go to put on a shirt, right? How many times, I've done this where I put something on, you put it on a shirt, and you got a little stain and you're like, oh, well, it's just there. What am I going to do? But you might be somebody who obsesses over it, that it's glaringly noticeable, everybody's going to see it. Or perhaps, you don't get involved in class or at work because you're assuming that everyone is going to dissect your words. Everyone is going to hear everything you say and then they're going to dissect it. When realistically, most people don't hear what you say anyway and they retain even less of it. But we could talk about that another time. And let's not even talk about nowadays, the anxiety of posting on social media, because surely everyone is meticulously analyzing every photo, post, and update you share. Even your personal triumph and blunders are not safe from the spotlight effect's grasp. You get what I'm saying here, people, right? You accomplish a major project and anticipate a round of applause only to find it's not as thunderous as you envisioned. That time you slipped on a banana peel or slipped going to work or just even stumbled, right? Now you're just convinced the whole world witnessed and is having a hearty laugh at your expense. I mean, again, it shows up everywhere. It shows up in your dating life, right? Suddenly you feel like you're participating in a reality show where every word and action is scrutinized and rated. Moments of intimacy, there's that lingering concern about, what they might be thinking about you, what they might want to tell people about you, and then forget about just trying anything new, right? Because when you have the spotlight effect, when that's who you are, it really kind of stifles you. It makes you feel like any move you make, you're under a microscope. So you're not going to want to try things because you're already convinced that you're going to be judged and it's just going to be this, this movie that everybody else is going to play out in their head. But here's the eye opener. As time goes by, you're just going to come to realize that the whole spotlight, it's nothing. It's just a clever illusion. It's just something created in your head. People aren't paying as much attention to you as you believe. Whatever happens, people usually forget about them pretty quick. Whatever you wore that day that you freaked out about, that's not headline news. Nobody remembers about it. Nobody cares. That social post you put up there, people scroll through them faster than you think. How many of you actually sit there and read the post, look at the picture, really take it in, really scrutinize it before you hit that like? It's scroll, 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 picture, friend, like. Scroll, 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 picture, friend, like. So-and-so did this. They went on that date. Great. Up, like, and just move on. So again, even the minor things that happen to us, if you have spotlight effect, you know what I'm talking about here. You're just blowing them out of proportion. Now, here's the challenge. This spotlight effect gets even stronger when we start comparing ourselves to others. Like if we start imagining others are watching us as closely we're watching them, then it's like we suddenly get stuck in this loop of thinking that we're always in the spotlight, right? And one of the big challenges, and one of the reasons I want to talk to you about this today, because if someone has self-esteem issues, that spotlight is going to feel pretty freaking intense right now. I mean, that spotlight to somebody with low self-esteem probably feels like you're standing in a stadium right now. You're just like, you're over there. I'm a Jets fan. You're standing in MetLife. There's nobody there, but every light is on you. Or maybe everybody in your mind is there, but you're the only one in the light and everybody is staring at you. And you're assuming that people are judging your every move, even when they're not. And that spotlight is just there, just staring down on you. And the challenge when you have spotlight effect, the syndrome here is basically you start playing it safe. Sometimes, people with spotlight effect, what you do is you start changing who you are. You start acting differently, because you're convinced everybody's analyzing you. So you're going to just keep playing a different part. And the problem is that worrying now of, I'm being analyzed, I have to be this different part, stops you from living your life fully. And again, you're going to stop taking risks or doing new experiences because you're going to be afraid of looking foolish. You don't have to live like this. I know it's easier said than done, but you don't have to live like this, okay? Because again, remember, think about yourself. You probably encountered so many things with so many other people that they've done that they probably remind you like, hey, remember time? They're like, no, because people are caught up in their own lives. People are caught up on their own lives. So let's talk about dimming your spotlight, okay? For number one, like I talk about all the time, everything starts with thought. Thought creates your emotions, creates your actions and your results. So you got to control your thoughts. All right. Be aware of your thoughts and situations, especially the irrational ones. Oh my God, they're looking at me. They're judging me. No, they're not. They're not looking at you and they're not judging you. And to be honest with you, even if they are, who cares? All right. But then have some empathy there for yourself, but also just recognize people around you, everything that you think they're going through or that they're doing towards you, that you think they're laser focused on you. Come on. They got their own stuff going on. They're dealing with their own. Somebody could be looking at you. You could fall on your face. And to be honest with you, they may not have even seen it because they may have been looking at you, but they're in their own head. They're dealing with their own issues. Okay. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. Cheer yourself on. Don't tear yourself down. When you're situated, like, I'm doing great. I am who I am. I like me. I'm great. This is who I am. Oops, I tripped. It is what it is. I remember one time I was sitting at my favorite bar. And I sat back and I fell off the stool, literally crowded bar. Boom, fell right off the back of the stool. And I didn't let it bother me. I just got up, I lifted the stool up and I sat back down. They probably thought maybe I had too much to drink. I don't think I did. I think I just slid off the back of the stool. But, I didn't let it bother me. I didn't feel like everybody in there was looking at me. I just got back up and did my thing. And I know for some of you, this is really what's at the core of maybe if you have social anxiety. But keep in mind, there's no spotlight. People are way too involved in their own life, all right? The spotlight effect is just tricks your minds to play on you, but you got to break from it, right? Because you got to live life on your terms, not based on what you assume others see. So be easy on yourselves. Step out of this imaginary spotlight. Embrace being confidently, authentically you. because in reality, people are more focused on their own story than they are yours. One of my favorite quotes was by Lou Holtz. Lou Holtz one time said, "Don't tell people your problems. 80% don't care. 20% are glad they're yours." Basically meaning people got their own stuff going on. So don't think and don't be selfish enough to just assume that you're living in other people's heads. You would never care what people thought about you if you actually knew how often they were thinking about you. All right, everybody. Well, that's what I got for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Spotlight effect. That's an interesting one, but, I know a lot of people suffer from it. Some news. I'm going to start moving to YouTube. I'm going to go to the tube. I'm going to put some of my older episodes on there. Go back and re-record them there. Kind of always had an aversion to YouTube, but I've been asked about it a few times. And I don't know, why not get the space out there and talk to people? So again, I appreciate you being along with me. I appreciate you being for the ride. We're almost coming up on a year. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about getting a year out. Again, check me out, MikeMuldoonLC.com or at MikeMuldoonLC on Instagram. Send me your posts, send me your comments. Send me your people who might need some help, who might be struggling. Even if they have a question, you got a friend struggling with something right now. Say, hey, why don't you go talk to my buddy Mike? Look, they can talk to your buddy Mike. Doesn't mean they're hiring me on to coach them. If they got a question, hey, that's what I'm here. I don't do this, because, it's all about, making money. I mean, money's good to make, but I like helping people. So if you need somebody going through something right now, say, hey, why don't you just call my buddy Mike, talk to Mike, or email him. And, we can talk, and then we can always figure out if we want to work together. But in the beginning, you got somebody who needs something, you let them know. Let them get a hold of me. All right, everybody. Well, as always, have a great weekend, and I got nothing but love for you.